Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the Spirit of Truth. The Spirit of Truth is the book, psychographed by two mediums, Waldo Vieira and Chico Xavier, in 1960, published in 1961, and 60 years later, here we are, relaying to you the free translation. And we say free translation because the book is not published yet. It's still under revision. And hopefully one day we'll send it to the publisher and the publisher is going to publish it. Meanwhile, here we are. And amongst the spirit authors is Emmanuel, the mentor of Chico Xavier, the actual manager of the whole project. And we're saying manager out of better words for now. But Emmanuel is the reincarnation of the senator Publius Lentulus, as we can read in the book, 2,000 years ago. And 50 years later, in the book, 50 years later, we're going to see him as the reincarnation of a slave. And then in the other books that he wrote through the psychography of Chico Xavier, we are going to find several lives and the growth of that spirit after he embraced the Christ consciousness. And amongst the aspects of the Christ consciousness is blessed are the poor in spirit, which is reported in the Gospel according to Spiritism by Kardec in chapter 7. And Emmanuel, he quotes item 3 of chapter 7. Blessed are the poor in spirit. And item 3 is a message by Jesus reported in Matthew 18:1-5. At that time, the disciples approached Jesus and asked, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" Jesus, having called to a child, set him in their midst and said to them, "Verily I say to you that if you do not convert, and if you do not become like children, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, everyone who humbles himself and becomes small like a child will be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And as I have stated, everyone who receives a child in my name receives me likewise. Whoever wants to be the first amongst you, be the servant, Jesus. So it's about pride. It's about being the first. And is that a problem in willing to strive to be the best we can? No. The problem is when we want to compete. Competition can never be greater than collaboration. It's good to do the good and strive to do the good as best we can. But another thing is to be willing to be in the spotlight, to be outstanding, to be different. Some people, they are shy, but they want to be the different one. Everybody's singing and they say, "No, I want to be different." Everybody's dancing. "No, I want not to dance." So they want the reverse, right? They don't want people to see them, but they want people to see them. Why do we do this? Emmanuel is going to be explaining this message. It's about to be the first, the first. And he says, in various sectors of human experience, we find the more diverse individuals seeking prominent positions and places of coordination. This was written in 1960, and it's so valid to date. Multiculturally, he continues, there are people who embark on the pathways of business, industry, in an unbridled race to rise on the fragile wings of ephemeral possessions. Many choose mildly tyranny in the social field to assert power and be dominant. Others, through their intellect, they use science to support their authority, invoking that authority for themselves. There are also intelligences who, in the name of innovation and art, declare themselves partners in delinquency and addiction, settling their own longing for sparkling in the zones of influence. They all walk, subordinated to the same laws, elevating themselves today to descend tomorrow. The economic empire, the terrestrial authority, or the systematic intellectualism enable the projection of the individual in the human scene, instantly scratching the immensity of the skies. In worst circumstances, the one who preferred the hellish glow of crime collides in a short period of time with the harshness of itself, being constricted to reunite the shards of life triggered by their regrettable actions in recomposing their own destiny. The vast majority takes the appearance of the command as the best position, and rather the ones who identify in anonymous humble positions the career post that leads the soul to the plateau of creation. However, despite everything, the truth remains immutable. Real leadership has no foundation in financial resources. It does not simplify, it does not simply fortify itself in notoriety of any nature. It does not depend solely on smartness or sagacity, nor is it the fruit of pretentious erudition. Durable leadership belongs to those who are absent from themselves, seeking others to serve them, forgetting the transient lights of the ramps of the world, renouncing their personal dreams in favor of collective achievements, obeying the stimuli and warnings of conscience. And because they love everyone without claiming love for themselves, being the condition of everyone's servants, they become loved by life, in which they concentrate, life that concentrates the foundational interests of us all. Emmanuel is very deep in this message, as usual, but in this one particularly, he's very deep. We're going to find here the scenarios of the current world. 60 years later, we are not different. You see how different it is? It's not different. Mm-mm. We still see people who are young, looking forward to become bloggers, vloggers, YouTubers, and go viral. But not because they are doing something that is useful. They are doing things that people don't care. For example, we watch the unboxing of toys. What is that for? For consumerism. Oh, but come on. And then we let our children watch it all day long. What kind of spiritual nutrition, intellectual nutrition are they receiving? None. We see people who have millions of followers because they are trying different cereals. But come on, Vanessa, it's fun. Okay. In the name of fun, we just waste our time trying out new outfits. So we're not judging, we are evaluating. Emmanuel doesn't come to us to say, oh, we're doing great in life. He's saying, to do great in life, we need to forget ourselves. because people are using degrees to make themselves authority, using titles to make themselves a center of authority, using even arts. And what we're seeing nowadays is not arts in the good, people getting awards, but their music is destructive, is depressive. Dr. Martin Seligman, he researched and created a true program to prevent the new generation from escalating into depression. The Optimistic Child, that's the book. That is the book. And for those who are watching us, I will show you the book because it's a book that is a must for all of us. Okay? You can go to Amazon, yeah, and you can find the very book, The Optimistic Child. Dr. Martin Seligman, and you're going to find this book in audio format, paperback, CD, Kindle version, and here is the book. We're going to share the screen so you see, mark it down, acquire the book, read the book, give this book as a gift to someone. This is the book. We want people to know that nowadays he has a proven program to safeguard children against depression and build lifelong resilience. This is a book that is a must for all of us, parents, grandparents, educators. We need it. Why? As he says, look at the very table of contents. He talks about the epidemic of depression. I'm sorry, I was trying to make it bigger. It went too big. Yeah, he talks about the epidemic of depression, and how we can make a pessimistic child, because he has a measuring test, become an optimistic one. Because he found out that those children who naturally are optimistic or who become optimistic, learn to be optimistic, they are better off in adulthood. Emmanuel is bringing to us the fact that music, arts, painting, dance, we see dance nowadays, even in ballet schools. I've been to several recitals. It's changed so much. And then one day I was in a recital that was put together by a friend of mine. And at the end, they ended the ballet recital with music that was so depressive and a kind of art that didn't bring people up. And I asked her, as a director, the owner of the school, why this choice of music? Vanessa, the very teenagers asked me that. And they said, we're not going to go popular if we just do the same old ballet thing. So those singers and people who create art to bring the minds of our teenagers to a depressive state, they are co-responsible for the epidemic of depression. We need to pray for singers, for people who create fashion, people who are creating a new way of dressing up in a gloomy way. No, we want to partake into the movement of bringing the new generation to light. Yes. So, how do we do it? We don't want to be the first, and we are not. And the truth is immutable. When people say, oh, but this is our time, no, there are things that are right independent of time. And real leadership has no financial foundation in financial resources. Emmanuel is saying that because many of us think that we're going to do something big when we have money to build a school, to build a university. No, look at Chico Xavier. Never built anything physical, though there is a true empire that he left with his own sweat and work, his discipline. He was so disciplined that the least he's got, he multiplied. So now you and I are being invited tonight to this way of forgetting the passing lights of the world. I know even spiritists who used to be hosts of programs of spiritism somewhere, and now they claim that they want to do something more universal, something that is more like aligned with every everybody in every walk of life. It's so sad. They are still looking forward to the lights of the world. The world may not be looking at us so much right now. We're here, we're few, but it doesn't matter. We are building a foundation for the next generations. In our day to day doings and deeds and choices and makings, by renouncing our personal dreams. Maybe we dream of the spotlight. How many people do? But it doesn't work that way. Now we need to dream the dreams that are beneficial to everybody. Like Martin Luther King Jr. He was courageous, altruistic, to leave the realm of anonymity to becoming somebody who is advocating for equality. He didn't want to show off. He really dreamed the collective achievement of racial equality, which we're working on it as in our nation right now, but still far from it. We are being asked to dream the dreams of the collective. Many people now during the pandemic are dreaming of a vacation. They are dreaming of a getaway where they can forget about the restrictions. We need to renounce those personal dreams to think of those who don't have food on their table, of those who need a helping hand because their family member who is the provider is in the hospital or discarnated or lost a job. We need to dream the collective dream of reaching out to our children who are suffering immensely because of the pandemic and because of how parents sometimes or often not prepared for this are poorly managing it. We need to dream the dreams of the collective. It's not about us. To love everyone without claiming the love for ourselves, says Emmanuel. To love others and serve them. And life will in return love us so much because we're giving love. So we want to be the ones who are going to first renounce our own selves. It's an exercise of daily life. How so? Let's say We are home and we're tired. We want to rest, but our family needs our presence. We renounce our need of resting to be there with our children, to be there with our partner, to be there for someone who is in need of a conversation. Or at work, a work, a colleague at work needs help in their project. We're going to forget about our own need of our own project and give them a hand. Self love that drives us to love others. When we're not able to do that, we're still very immature in the flowing of God's love through us. We need to potentiate it. Love comes from God. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Some people say, I need to be more loving. You know what it means to be more loving? To be more loving is about opening ourselves so the flow of God's love goes through us. The only effort is to de-obstruct, to open up. This is what we need to do. Yes, we need to be loving. He's saying at the end of this message that ridding ourselves of the need of being the first, of taking advantage all the time. Some people want to reach heaven, but they are constantly seeking their advantages. It is on us to renounce and to focus. You can almost imagine, right? The exercise that the spirit mentors right now are giving to us. They are saying, in the next 24 hours, we're going to practice the dream of collective achievements. We're not going to think of ourselves as achieving something alone, but we're going to visualize a collective achievement. That's our dream. We have 24 hours to dream of a collective achievement. And we dream of the day when people will be better after this pandemic. But that dream cannot be beneficial only to ourselves. I saw somebody saying, oh, thank God, I got the vaccine. Now my life may take its normal course. But the person doesn't realize that dreaming about getting the vaccine is not enough. We need to dream that everybody in the world gets the vaccine because people commute and exchange experiences, and we won't defeat the virus if we don't get a collective immunity. We call about herd immunity. So, in the next 24 hours, Emmanuel is going to be inspiring us to achieve this collective dream, this collective achievement. It's a great practice without calculating the benefits for us. The dream of this and the other. I won't say much because it's on each one of us to share this collective dream. But feel free, if you want to share, you can write down at the comments here in this platform that you're watching in and share with us what would be your dream for a collective achievement. And thus we'll be practicing something that is selfless and thus working on our humility, working on our pride, on our ego, being stronger in the muscles of our soul. What a beautiful plan. I'm excited about it. and I hope you do too. We wish you many blessings in the next 24 hours, feeling, feeling this shower that comes from God, the shower of ideas, of dreams for the collective achievement. We don't want to be the first. We want the whole world to be well. Right, Virginia?
Yes.
Yes. So how about dreaming of something that is good for everybody, Virginia? Do you like it?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes. Do you have any idea you'd like to share with us? What would
Um,
be a great uh, achievement for humanity together?
let's say,
You don't have to have any idea. I'm just asking if you have any idea right now.
mm,
No, not. We will think together, right?
what about um saving the earth
Oh
and
my
the
God.
global warming and
Yes.
all the trees being cutting down and all the waters getting wasted and all of this and all of that and all of this and that
Beautiful. So that's what we're going to do as well. Dream of diminishing global warming, fixing
uh,
it up.
until it falls down.
Yes, we're going to do it. So we wish you many blessings in the 24 hours, planning, dreaming of collective achievements, and thus trimming down this need of being me first. We don't want to be the first. We want to
To be
be
the last.
last, because the last will be the first. That's interesting. Huh?
All right, there's a story of the wedding, the parable of Jesus. Um, it's on um,
Cardiac radio for
it's on
kids.
Cardiac Radio for Kids. It's a few weeks ago. The story that the little guy wanted to be the first in the line,
Oh wow.
and then someone else came there, and the host said, "Oh, what about this guy sits here and you sit there?" And he sat the last of the line. Then it shows if he were really uh
Humble.
humble. Yeah, humble. And he said the last and he became the first.
Wow. Jesus knew
This
about it.
is humility.
This is humility. Thank you so much, because that's exactly the message that Emmanuel brings to us. We wish you many blessings during the next 24 hours, dreaming the dreams of the collective. And hopefully, we'll be back with more from the Spirit of Truth. For now, stay tuned at Cardiac Radio, because here we are always.
No TSOs!
Yay! Thank you, friends.